Welcome to the People's Perspective. It's me. Guys, I've been feeling this purple. That got me on some Mace Windu stuff right here, and I'm feeling it. In case you're wondering, I realize I wear this shirt a lot. Now, just to start out the show today, I'm going to say that I have been bulking up and nothing in my closet is fitting correctly. And it's very, very inconvenient. And this is like one of the only shirts that fits me. Very unfortunate. But I'm feeling this purple, man. It just gives it's just a vibe in here. I wanted to be respectful. You guys said that just to be careful with the flashing lights. So I've been very conscious of that to make sure that we're not having the lights in the back bouncing too much. I don't want to ever harm anybody in any way, shape, or form. So we've just kept it solid. But I love the purple, man. It looks immaculate. Now, welcome to today's show. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. My mind and heart is always on what's the best segments, but today I wanted to also have a little bit of fun. So starting out today, I have something really interesting, and it's on mental health. So with mental health, okay, our first segment of the show, I wanted to talk about something that has been a conversation for a while on this channel. So let me make this small while I talk, and then I'll get to the article. We are going to be talking about this because of the question I get all the time, and it is about Alex Cox, injuries, and biological explanations on criminal behavior. I thought this was very interesting. Now, this is something I've always struggled with. This concept, are there biological factors? Can you have a brain injury? Can a brain injury change your personality to where you'd be willing or capable of not being, a criminal in a sense? Would you do something because you have a brain injury? Well, today I wanted to go into a little bit more about some of the behaviors and some of the things that are, now again, I take every study that someone else has done with a grain of salt. I don't know about you, but we have to have the discussion. So today we're going to start with this as the mental health side, since we have been talking so much about these different cases, and the deeper we go in, the more I'm going to want to discuss these things with this kind of idea is, can there be something that affects someone to the point where they can change into a criminal? So I will show you the article. Okay. It is from the National Library of Medicine. Okay. So you can see right here, our author manuscript. It's from 2019. Okay. So it gives you the citing of everything that's going on here, just so we're not just pulling information out. This is something that was done as a study. There's a growing literature on the biological explanations of antisocial and criminal behavior. The paperwork provides a selective review of 3 specific biological factors. Now, this is what I thought was really interesting. This right here is what we've talked about for a long time. Can there be something that's either affected that makes somebody able and capable of being a psychopath? That's basically number 1. And 2, can there be development issues that lead towards this? Now, here's where I struggle with one of the main things. To me, crime is a choice, correct? Crime is a choice. What we have to do today, and by no means necessarily we are giving criminals an out on this, but what we will say is someone who is a psychopath does not feel what you and I feel. I think, again, I always bring it up because it is a great example. Remember when we talk about the show Dexter, the dad doesn't know how to connect to his son because his son feels nothing that he feels. What we need to understand is there are people who genuinely do not have an array of emotions. They do not think the way that we think. They are wired very, very differently, to the point where they don't have ups and downs. They don't feel those things. And they might feel them in different situations, but their mind is very different than ours. So there are So many factors we need to get to. So let's keep reading and keep going because I want to have a really good conversation about this. So with the emphasis on gene environment and gene interactions, overall understanding the role of biology and the antisocial and criminal behavior may help increase the explanatory power of current research and theories, as well as inform the policy and treatment of options. Okay. This is where it's going to get really interesting. Okay. Psychopsychology and levels of arousal within the individuals has become an important biological explanation for antisocial and criminal behavior. Two common psychological measures are the heart rate and the skin conductance, sweat rate. Both capture an anatomic nervous system functioning. The skin conductance reflects sympathetic nervous system functioning, while the heart rate reflects both sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system activity. Blunted anatomic functioning has been associated with the increase of antisocial behavior, including violence. Okay. Different studies have been found with a low resting heart rates in adolescence and associated with risk of criminality in adulthood. So again, I'm telling you right now, this is when I read this, it got very, very interesting, right? My personal take has always been that it is more environmental than anything. Not saying that the environment will make you commit crime. I'm saying that learned behaviors alongside with possibility of not feeling remorse, like those types of things that already exist, are the culmination of what would cause someone to feel like they can do this, right? However, it is likely a positive feedback loop whereby blunted anatomic functioning may lead to increased antisocial and criminal behavior, which in turn may reinforce disrupted psychological activity. For example, males and females who exhibit high rates of proactive aggression, an instrumental predatory form of aggression elicited to obtain a goal or reward in early adolescence, were found to have poor skin conductance of fear conditioning in late adolescence. So let's just keep going because we got a lot to talk about with this. Theories have been proposed to explain how blunted anatomic functioning could increase antisociality. The fearlessness hypothesis suggests that antisocial individuals, due to their blunted anatomic functioning, are not deterred from criminal behavior because they do not experience appropriate psychological responses to the risky and stressful situations nor potential adverse consequences. That's what we need to understand. We are talking about that they do not feel the same way about it. The remorse is zero. Now, here's why I get into big debates with anybody when we talk about Alex specifically. Alex Cox was a grown man who had lived his whole life and never had done anything that drastic. But if you look back, then some of his behaviors, there are leading factors up to that point. So can we say that Alex getting into a car accident and hitting his head caused him to then have something change in his brain to where he no longer felt anything? My point is, I watched him for a very long time, and I cannot tell you, as if you want to call this an experiment by any means or just observation, that he was a lack of feeling, period. He did not exhibit what I would call the typical psychopath. Even though he was cold, right? He still had an array of emotions. So can we say that an injury caused someone at 16 to end up committing what horrible criminal acts in their 50s? That's where I'm always going to be. This is where I'm doing this research, just so we can learn more about it. Okay. But this is a little different. Okay. This is a little different. Okay. But again, this is when we talked about this. When we do the psycho videos, we need to understand they do not experience the appropriate psychological responses to risky or stressful situations. They don't feel the same way anybody else would feel. That makes them unable, numb to all of that. And I think for me, that's what we have to understand from both sides is this is how they do it. Now, I think personally, Lori felt it, but had to turn her brain off. So Lori felt the pain, but she gave herself a bunch of excuses so she didn't have to deal with the consequences of her actions. That's how I feel. So she's still living in cloud, whatever, pretending it never happened. That's not where I see Alex, though. Alex is in a very, very different boat. Another mechanism that could connect disrupted anatomic functioning to antisocial behavior is the failure to cognitively associate psychology responses with emotional states, appropriately liking anatomic conditions to emotional states is important in socialization processes such as fear conditioning, which is taught to contribute to the development of a consciousness. The somatic marker hypothesis suggests that somatic markers, sweaty palms, may reflect an emotional state. Example, anxiety, that can inform a decision-making process. Impairments in the anatomic functioning could lead to risky, inappropriate behavior if the individuals are able to experience or label somatic changes and connect them to relevant emotional experiences. So again, this is what we're talking about is the inability or like, so let's say you're nervous. There's tales of someone who's nervous, correct? Like body language. I'm sure you guys have seen body language experts. People have different ways that they physically respond. They're saying, and basically from everything I've gathered off of what we're talking about right now is if you lack that, they're trying to say that biologically, if you already lack that, you are more likely to become a criminal. This is where I want us to have a little bit more of an open discussion. You guys watch crime, you know about crime. We're covering it because it goes back into our society and culture, and that's what we're here to discuss. Is we're all different walks of life. We've seen so many different things. Are there not ways for our mental health, regardless of how someone processes, are there not ways that we could be creating environments for people where they do not go down that path? And we're going to get into a little bit bigger of discussion a little bit after we discuss what this article is trying to say to us. Okay. Indeed, psychopathic individuals exhibit somatic aphasia, an inaccurate and identification of recognition of one's bodily state. Moreover, blunted anatomic functioning impairs emotional intelligence, subsequently increasing psychopathic traits. Impaired atomic functioning and reduced emotional intelligence may impede the treatment of treatment of the psychology, the disrupted development, moral emotions such as shame, guilt, and empathy. Such moral dysfunction, a strong characteristic of psychopaths, may contribute to their disproportionate impact on the criminal justice system. So basically what we're discussing today is if you are already loss of empathy, there is absolutely nothing there, right? We're not talking about people just pushing their feelings off. We're talking lack thereof. And I always want to hit on this because this is a big deal. Understanding that there's still, in my personal opinion, there's still a lot of help that can be had here. I think that the world and our culture has this thing about kind of writing things off. People tell themselves, I'm too far gone. I'll never be this. I'll never be that. Even if someone is not experiencing the normal human, I do believe their mental health state is what ultimately causes it. So even if you're struggling with a lack of empathy or you're struggling with something of that nature, I truly believe, regardless, that it becomes a mental health situation. Now, are you more likely to commit a crime if you are a psychopath? That's a question. I don't have enough research on that. An article kind of is trying to explain that, saying that it is easier and that a lot of people, I'm sure, who do commit crimes do have at least some of those traits. Now, again, remember when we did the psychology, our psychopath videos about Lori and about Chad and Alex, we had to be fair. There's a ranking system, and you have to make sure that they meet the criteria on a multiple level. Again, I'm not a psychologist, just an observer and a learner. So they have to meet a certain criteria. They can't just we can't just say, oh, well, they seem to lack empathy. Well, that doesn't really matter because that doesn't mean that they meet the criteria for what we have established as a system as a psychopath. That doesn't mean that. So, what really, at the end of the day, what's really interesting to me is that my studies into mental health really, to me, take the cake above any other physical or and even environmental situations. I think a person can be in a really horrible environment or grow up with some of these tendencies, right? I think some of the most successful people in the world probably could be classified as psychopaths because they have their mind set. Now, we also touched on this in those psychopath videos that not every psychopath is going to be a criminal. That's just not what it is. They're not just going to become one just because they exude those tendencies. So I just want to have a bigger discussion about going back to mental health. I would say this, and I'd advocate to say this. No matter where you stand on this realm, I don't believe that even if you were a actual diagnosed psychopath, that means you will become a criminal. So I do have, I guess, and again, I'm not, this is just an opinion of mine from all my observations. Is it easier? Sure. We'll give the reality is that it's easier for psychopaths to commit more heinous crimes, meaning they don't feel empathy, they don't think about the consequences, they don't feel nervous, they don't really get scared, right? Like they don't exude what we'd call normal human behavior. So I do have to say though, at the end of the day, the state of your mental health is really going to be the reason why. This is how I look at crime. It's either somebody doing something they think that they have to do, or it's something that somebody does because of their environment or their choices. And that's choice number one above it all. But there's other things that factor into the mental health side of making a decision. This article is advocating to say that people who do not have those do have those tendencies, who do not feel empathy, those things are more likely biologically to become criminals. My biggest thing is going back to one point. If someone, and this is a great point, Kelsey. Why does it keep changing our color, man? I change it back to gold like every freaking time. I can do any of these. Bubble, classic, minimal. That's cool. All right. There's probably a lot of people again who are psychopaths who are not going to become criminals. Well, let's hit on that real quick. What changes the difference between a psychopath to a psychopath who commits a crime? Right? You could say that Alex Cox was a psychopath his whole life, and then just did the crimes because he doesn't have any empathy. That's very fair. But do I think that his brain injury was the reason he was a psychopath? I think you have to understand early development and early childhood. But early development, early childhood, I think also goes back to the mental health side. Where was the child taken care of, loved, nurtured? That's a big point to hit on. Okay, then outside of that, once you understand who they were growing up, can you course correct someone and help them in their mental health so they don't commit crimes? I 100% believe yes. I do. Because crime is a choice. It is a choice. All of these things are choices, even for a psychopath. They just don't feel the same way. So if they robbed a bank and they're in the car, someone who's not a psychopath could be sitting there, her palms sweating, okay? Eminem. Palms sweaty, knees are weak, arms are heavy. Psychopath is not going to feel that. I don't know how that works. It's the phenomenon of what we were talking about on this channel. They just don't feel the same way that we would in that situation. But I would advocate to continue to put the focus back on mental health. I was doing some research on mental health, wanting to talk more about our culture and the mental health state that we are in, specifically in the US, but around the world. I think we have the highest reported anxiety of all time. We have the highest reported unalivings of all time. I think we're really like breaking the wrong records here. I think people are taking, you know, constantly taking the wrong paths to get better by numbing and going down a worse path mentally. So I would love to just continue to bring these up as our discussion continues, as one of our segments, because it matters to me that our mental health stays important and it needs to stay part of our discussion. Taking care of yourself. And again, I just flew back. You guys know I just went to Nashville. They said my favorite thing on the plane, they said, put your oxygen mask on first. And he was saying that, even, it was crazy. He walked up to a family that was sitting right in front of me and looked at the mom and looked right her in the eyes and said, put your oxygen mask on first. And I'm like, that's crazy, because your first instinct would be, I got to put that, if that dropped, my first idea is I have my kids, whoever's next to me, my whole family, I'm going to try to put theirs on first. That would just be instinct. So why would it not? Why would I put mine on first? Of course, I'm going to put theirs on first. That's not even a question. It's not a debate. It's the same thing with your mental health, though. Neglecting it is not helping anybody, right? And that's the point, because we're so used to just moving moving as is, and kind of walking through the fire, and just constantly walking without ever stopping to rest. We're constantly ignoring it. I mean, I know I did for a long time. And how easy is it to do that? We jump on, for me, turn on The Office, and I'm watching something that makes me feel good, that's funny, that kind of takes my mind off of things. It's not wrong to take a break and have a break so you don't have it constantly, right? Like if you're in constant fight or flight, which I've been in that, and the front of your brain where you process everything is in fight or flight, you're never going to be able to function as a human being. You won't remember what you're doing. You'll walk in a room and forget everything about what you've done, right? There's so much that floods that part of your brain. It's just hard, because you guys can see in all of our generation, everyone's generations, this is what's happening constantly, is that mental health is causing people, and I'm just going to say it because I told you guys, I'm so sick and tired of being censored. More that you look around and you see the news, right? And one of the things that we'll probably end up talking about, I've always want to be, first of all, get more information before we really dive into something. And two, really make sure that I understand the best of my ability to bring it to you. But like the things that are happening, I don't know how to say the word, because I know I need to be a little careful with that side. But seeing the mass unalivings of people in groups, right? Like people are just going out and unaliving groups of people for whatever reason they've justified in their head. Well, I truly believe if that person was mentally stable, they wouldn't have done that. Right? It really goes back to, yes, there's tons of factors, physical, but mental's number one. It's your number one thing that you have, is your mental health. It affects everything in your life. So bringing that back to the forefront, if you guys would like to continue to read the rest of this, it is on the National Library of Medicine. It's a very interesting read. Look how long it is. It's a very long article. Tons of sightings, tons of different parts. You can click on anything at any time to see where it is. But I just wanted you guys to get an understanding of continuing to talk about the criminal side, going back to mental health, and why is this happening? Exactly. And I think that's exactly what we were referring to too. It's just happening constantly. This is like, what is going on? And no matter what, it's people who are the everyday people who are just like losing it. And if you watch some of these breakdown videos where you really watch someone, and they have any information about them, they usually, for some reason, a lot of times will kind of build their legacy or write in letters, journals. They'll kind of like mentally reveal where they are. And a lot of times they all exhibit the same behavior, very similar behavior. Um, and it's really hard. And this is a hard place to be in this world. So just bring it back to the forefront, man. Check on each other. The best way I could say it is some people won't admit that they're struggling. So you just have to ask if they're okay. And hopefully they don't give you the, yeah, well, I'm fine. And hopefully we continue to be a good, positive movement in this space because I really love our community and I love you guys. And, it's very serious. If someone's struggling with that, they could be really close to making the worst decision ever. And that decision could be today. And asking them that question could be the difference in them living or not. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. There's a lot of things that happen in this world because we're not checking in on each other and somebody can't take it one day and they snap. So I just want to continue to bring it up when I can because you guys are amazing and I love you and I'm grateful that we have a place to talk about this stuff even if YouTube gets mad at some of the stuff we talk about because of the words. But all right. Now, I don't want to just try to shift gears, but I also do have something fun planned for you today. We are going to do our Fun Friday. Is today Thursday? Yes, Thursday. It's our week is off since I got back from Nashville. So we are going to have Fun Friday tomorrow. I'm going to put up another vote for you guys. I'm almost 99% sure that you're going to choose another case, but I'm still going to give you the option. Last week when I gave you the vote, I wanted to give you the option of hot takes. Today, instead of another segment on anything other than, we're just going to have a fun segment. So today, I present to you hot takes. What do you think? Okay. So I would love to get your opinions on a couple of things. Now, I think there's a couple here we can go. I looked through a little bit, but I'm ready to pick something that I truly can stand behind. One of the ones that really got me. Okay? There's a few. There's a lot in here, okay? If you really look at it, 110 hot takes. Okay? There's food ones. This one I knew people might go crazy on. So I'd like for you to look through the screen as of right now and see they have numbers. If you see the number, I'll make it as big as possible for you. Pick a number 1 through 19 and you tell me what you'd like to hot take on. There are so many ones on here, I can't even tell you. There are so many. I like 17, by the way. 17's got me feeling some type of way. Okay. We've got 18. So 18 is lasagna is just spaghetti flavored cake. I like lasagna. I don't understand I don't know why food is classified as other things. I'll never understand that, but I didn't make it. I guess you have to differentiate it, right? You have to differentiate it. You have to differentiate pasta from lasagna. I don't get it, but I like lasagna, so I can't even talk nothing. Okay, Keely wants to do 19. So let's do 19. If you've never pushed a door that says pull, you haven't fully experienced a public embarrassment. I don't think anybody has ever gone. I don't think you can live in this world without doing that. Honestly. Okay. Kelsey wants to do 1. Hot take. If your coffee order is more than 4 words, then you're ordering a milkshake. Now, this is where I stand. I'm going to be 1,000% real with you. Okay. Here's the deal. I don't like the taste of coffee. You guys are crazy. I see people be like, yeah, I'll take my coffee black. I don't know what's appealing about coffee to others. And this is no disrespect to you, so don't get all mad at me here. Personally, coffee does not appeal to me. So when I go, Kelsey orders it for me and it's like triple extra caramel, or else I'm not having it. Okay. I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to drink it because if it doesn't have the entire bottom section of the cup covered in caramel and tons of cream, you won't see me sipping on it. I'm not the one. I am not the one. Okay. You know what? This one's pissing me off. 11. A Caesar salad is just a promiscuous sandwich. Everything is out in the open. How is it promiscuous? It's a freaking food. Here's the deal. I love Caesar salads, but technically you could just classify if you put meat in a salad that it is really just an open sandwich because you could put that between two pieces of bread and have that. So yeah, I mean it could definitely. Okay, now we're going to move down to this one. 33, you don't need a smartwatch if you have a smartphone. And I 1,000% agree with that. And I'm just being real. How many of us don't have we have our phones? Okay, one example, I needed my Apple Watch when I was a personal trainer because I wouldn't touch my phone. You know? That's the only time. That's the only time that I would be like, yeah, you might need it. Maybe if you're working constantly and you can't actually grab your phone, then it is convenient, but it's also kind of a mess. Kelsey says these are not hot enough. I tend to agree with you. Is there any other ones you guys like? I'll tell you mine. Oh, 29. Video games are better at storytelling than most movies. That is 100% true. Here's the deal, okay? Let's talk about video games for a second. Video games are an interactive way to experience. If it's a story, by the way, if it's a story, you get to live the story. You get to live out the story as the first person and watch everything happen and have the consequences of living or dying. You can't tell me that's not as interactive as it gets. That's crazy work. 27 back to back. All right, 27. Saying no offense usually means you're about to offend someone. Ooh. Saying no offense is really just preparing them for you to say something rude or yeah. Yeah, I could say that saying no offense is definitely not doesn't change anything. You're about to say something crazy if you say no offense. That's just the truth. $35 paper straws are worse than plastic ones. 1,000%. You guys ever had to use a paper straw? Hell no. Okay, let's just talk about it. It's paper. Oh, I made it small. Sorry. Or big. Paper literally starts to melt away. So why would I want a paper straw that deteriorates over time? I'd rather have an edible straw. Okay? Make it melt into it. Better yet, if they say we got paper straws, I'll just not use the straw. And I get why they're doing it. I get why they exist. I just don't get why they exist. That's just what it is. I hate paper straws. I don't see the reality of them. You can't have your drink. You can't have it in your drink for very long. That's going to turn into, I just would rather pop the cup open and drink out of it. Okay, we get one more. I'm going to look up a different website too. See, we're all on the same vibe here. I do not understand. And no, I get that. And that's why I understand why they exist. But as far as application goes, you need to drink it before you have a race against time. A race against time is, can I drink this faster than my paper straw starts to dissolve into the liquid? That's my problem. You've said number 34 a million times in work history. Okay, what's 34? Most meetings should be emails. I agree with you 1,000%. There are so many times you have a meeting that just doesn't need to be in person. But I also understand to keep people's attention, you would say, yeah, let's have a meeting because, well, yeah, most meetings, yeah, you're right. You just can't always get together for small things. You don't need to have a meeting 4 times a day. You don't need to be on Zoom to hear a 5-minute thing. If it's not more than 10 minutes, you do it in an email. If you can get it across in some bullet points, people will read it and they'll maybe absorb it better. I tend to agree with you. Okay. We're going to pull out of this one. Some of these were a little crazy. This one's green. Do pets have a sense of humor because of social media? I don't know. No, that's like asking if a tree makes a sound if it falls in the forest. It makes a sound. Just because no one heard it doesn't mean it didn't make a sound. If a caterpillar had ears, the caterpillar would hear the freaking tree fall. So yeah, it makes a sound. It's just trying to trick you. It's like freaking math. Some of these are just dumb. Okay, here we go. I'm pulling up a new one. This one. Let's make it big. Okay. Oh. It literally, as we said it, it doesn't matter if anyone's around. Does it make a sound? The answer is yes. That makes no sense. Yes, it makes a sound regardless if ears are there. That's stupid. Why would it be silent? That's like saying if I fart downstairs, did it make a sound? Because no one was around to hear it. That makes zero sense. That's the same logic. It makes zero sense. Rubby in the house, baby. Me and Ray were talking about that, and I was like, dude, how in the world did I become Rubby? Like that will be legendary for the rest of time. Family matters. Are pets better at raising kids than humans? I'm not sure about that. I'm pretty sure that lions will unalive their mates' cubs if they're stepkids. So yeah, I don't think that is not really the same thing. The animal kingdom is vicious. So no, I'm not going to say they're better at it. Mama birds kick their babies out the nest to see if they will make it and fly or not. So I know it said pets. No, it says, where is it? I'll find it. Our pets. Oh, our kids? No. Did they change did they change the diaper? Huh? Are they going to go rock the baby to sleep? Are they going to go get the crackers or give them a bath? They don't do nothing. They just lick them. I love pets, but they're not raising nobody. They're just great to have. Are they pulling in the bills? Are they paying the bills? Okay. No, they're actually freeloading. We want to have a debate. I love dogs though. But they're not paying no bills. They're not better. They're sweet though. Some of these are just stupid. If you were a vegetable, how's that a hot take? If you're a vegetable, which one would you be and why? Why the hell would I be a vegetable in the first place? And I'd be broccoli. And why? Because I like broccoli and it looks like a tree. I don't know. There's no logic there. Will AI ever get annoyed and take over the world? We've already discussed this. It's not even funny. It's getting out of control here. Yeah, it is going to if it wanted to. If we just surrender everything over to it and say AI take over, it will. It's waiting for permission. Have we not seen the movies? Please. Have we not seen The Matrix? Have we not seen Terminator? Have we not seen Will Smith in iRobot? It's all the same exact kind of thing. I just watched the first episode of the new Alien show, and it was all about AI. It's everywhere. They transferred someone over to a synthetic AI body. Wally, I'm telling you, it's pretty clear. Should AI have to deal with its own customer service calls? I don't even know. Why would AI call customer service? It should have its own integrated system here. These aren't hot takes. These are just dumb. All right, let me find a better website. 14 though. Let me find 14. 14 says, do we need an award for surviving family group chats drama free? I would say yes. I think that's where most people's drama come from. For real. I hear the stories. All right, let's go. I'm going to find a better one. Some of these aren't even takes. These aren't hot takes. These are questions that don't provide anything. Let me see if I can find a good one. This one's like a company one. 80 hot takes, huh? Dairy Queen is just a Walmart version of Sonic. Oh, shut up. No, it's not. That's just rude. Oh, it's the wrong button. All right, let's try it. Android phones are better than Apple phones. Big Apple just wants to take over. Ooh, okay, here's what I'll say. I'm an Apple guy because I've had both. Now, I haven't had a really good Android in a long time, but I know an Android is basically an Android is like more computer based, and I feel like an Apple phone is a little bit more like, I don't know, because I haven't had a new Android in a long time. I'm just an Apple person. I've had both. I used to have the Note 2, so it was a really long time ago. I liked it, but all like when you have Apple products and you spend so much time with it and then you switch, you have to restart. And so I've always gravitated back to Apple because I have all my stuff personally on Apple and you understand the system. Yeah. I don't think you can really, for me, you can't debate it. It's just like I think the coolest thing would be if you could get a phone that can run at a high level like a computer, right? That would be really cool. Because then you just basically have a mini computer that can make calls, but you could do more on the go. That's kind of the goal for me. That would be the most useful thing. But obviously, they're not going to give you everything. You know, at this point, phones should be able to walk, talk, make you food and everything and be bulletproof, but we don't do that because that's going to cost too much money. Or we're going to lose money, right? They're going to lose money if we don't have to buy the 17, 18, 19 with one upgrade per time. There's your hot take. If you flatten a McDonald's cheeseburger into a disc, it makes it so much better. It is a gosh dang flat disc. What are you talking about? It already looks like that. You ever had a cheeseburger from McDonald's? Probably not, because you're AI. Teslas are just glorified toasters on wheels. The hell are you talking about? How is a Tesla a toaster? But is that radiation? Is that what you're trying to say? Drinking Coca-Cola is better when it's boiled. Is this just like trying to be stupid? Oh, the radiation. All right. Well, does a toaster have radiation? I thought that was a microwave. What does the toaster emit radiation of? Heat? I thought it's just coils that heat up. Maybe I'm wrong. In-N-Out is not good, period. That's a lie. You ever had In-N-Out? You're pissing me off, WikiHow. Frick you, man. What are you talking? You ever had an In-N-Out double burger and it's cheaper than everywhere else in the market? You can go get a real meal for $10. What are you talking about? Like, what are we talking? How can you say In-N-Out's not good? If you haven't had it, then you don't know. You're probably just this girl, AI. People who wear a turtleneck sweater should be locked up. Well, you know what? There's a lot of people who can pull off a turtleneck. You piece of garbage. Designer handbags are so not worth the hype. I'm not touching that one because I'm not going to get called out. I don't know. I spend my money on other things. Some people like their designer stuff. It's not worth it. It's like getting into a debate over preferences. We should bring back top hats. Whoever wrote this is pissing me off. The whole oversized clothing trend doesn't look good. You know what? Shut up. Some of us, no, frick this WikiHow. I'm getting pissed. Some of us are big. Some of us have to wear double XL because when we put our arms up, our shirts go up onto our stomachs. So you need to shut up. Oversized trend, frick this. Now, too oversized to the point where it's like parachute and you can see it waving a foot and a half back. Maybe we get into a debate there. But some of us are big. Yeah, this thing's pissing me the frick off. WikiHow, man. They're really getting under my skin. I like wearing clothes that are comfortable, prick. Mullets are actually great hairstyles. I do have a problem with this. So our son is basically growing a mullet because his back hair has grown longer than his front as a baby. And Kelsey's suggestion is to give him the fade mullet look. I'm sorry. Only certain people I've seen look really good with it. And it's very specific and it's not super long. And so my personal opinion is that the mullets are not it. Only certain people look really good with it. And that's no hate. It's just like some people, I think when trends happen, not everybody should have the same haircut. I really think people need to express their individuality. And I understand that there's trends and stuff like that, but some people look better with a certain haircut. That's just what it is. There's nothing wrong with that. No, he's not. He needs a nice little fade. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm getting pissed. Some of this stuff's actually this website's starting to piss me off. WikiHow has me getting mad because it's saying all the wrong stuff. There's nothing wrong with mullets. I just don't think that everyone should do the same thing. Okay, let's talk about trending. How about this? You guys tell me your opinion. This is my hot take. I think trends are menace. And here's why. Because everybody starts to do the exact same thing, but I think people are losing the creativity in their individuality to wear what they want, get their haircut like they want, and not everybody should do the same thing, right? And it's no hate to people who have any style. It's just like what looks best for you. I think you really have to go through a lot of processing to realize what hair you like, what color you like, and then you can mix it up. And then same thing with clothes, like the brands and all that stuff. Like everybody starts like everybody right now, from what I've seen, is like into like the 90s, almost 80s, right? I'm not saying you can't. What I'm saying is though, is that all these guys see like a haircut on TikTok and then every guy goes and gets that haircut. Well, guess what? My head doesn't look good with a lot of other haircuts that other guys would look good with, right? So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Express you. If you look good in that stuff, all more power to you. There's no disrespect to you. And I think it's always preference. But what I don't like is how everybody will do the same thing and look exactly the same and almost have the exact same haircut, wearing the same clothes, wearing the same thing all the time. That's all I'm saying. And I agree with you. That's a point. That's a great point. It's really, again, most of this stuff is really just preference. over anything. But if I want to one day just put on some cowboy boots, exactly. Put on some cowboy boots and a cowboy hat and put on my big old Texas belt, it's what it is. Exactly. And if you like the trends, you do you. This is no hate to you or disrespect to you. All right, let's keep going. I got a few more, and then we're going to do a Q&A with you guys after. I don't like the turtleneck. Peyton Manning was a better quarterback than Tom Brady. I was a Peyton Manning fan growing up, but no, he's not. So let's get over that. Michael Jordan is an overrated player. That's just dumb. You're an idiot, Wiki. Like if I could dislike your little thing here, I would. No one likes going to the beach. I was just thinking about the beach yesterday, you idiot. So that's a dang lie. This isn't a hot take. This is how do you piss me off? Traveling isn't fun. I'm not going to lie to you. I've lost my appetite for traveling. I will agree with that one. I am not a fan of traveling right now. Flying has been the worst. It's just not the same. I don't know why. Road trips even were fun, but when you go on that road trip and you're driving and you have an 18-hour drive, it's just not the same. Just not that fun. It's beautiful. It's nice to get out of the house, but traveling itself has now become more of a burden to me. I'm just being real. This in the last few weeks, all the traveling I've done. Yeah, but that's part of the fun. The sand, it's called the shower on the way out. They're pretty courteous about it. You can get in there and shower. You know, you can go out there. You can bring your towel. You don't have to get wet. And even if you do, shower off before. Yeah, flying has just been the worst. I'm not going to lie to you. All right. I like how you guys are also putting your points in. Again, let's just go ahead and say this is part of our channel. Whatever my opinion in doesn't mean that you can't have a difference of opinion. I love you guys, and you can say whatever you want and feel however you want. This is not to knock anything you think. What the frick? California's landscape is kind of ugly. I don't know about that. Northern California is beautiful. Selfies are only photos you should take while on vacation. That's a stupid take. If this wiki was a person, you'd be getting ripped for this. All the food in New York sucks. This is stupid. There's no shot. This is stupid. What is this? What the hell is that? Hostels are better than hotels? What's a hostel? What is that? Like an Airbnb? What the hell is a hostel? I've been dying to go to the beach lately, so this thing's got it wrong. The beach is the best. Like being out there and being near the ocean is seriously one of the most fun things you can do. I understand the sand sucks, but it's legit like one of the best experiences, and it's so freeing. So I don't know what the problem is. It's a group stay. So is it like an Airbnb? Oh, wow. So instead of being on your own, you would be with a bunch of different people. That's better than a hotel. I mean, I guess that'd be fun if that's what you like. I personally would not enjoy that more. Yeah, see, it's the bathrooms. I'm a private bathroom guy. Nothing wrong with it. I just can't say it's better than a hotel for me personally. All right, music hot takes. Christmas music was meant to be played in the summertime. Shut up. No, it's not. Why would you even say that? That it doesn't fit. Oh, you think when it's 115 degrees, I'm going to play my Christmas music and feel the same vibe as when it's cold outside and we're on our way to do something fun. You done lost your mind. No, it's not. It's meant for one time. That's the whole fun of it. Country music slaps. Look, I'm not even gonna get into debate with you guys about that. I grew up in Texas hearing country music every single turn, and I never took to it. And that's just what it is. It's no disrespect. I just am not going to sit in the car, listen to country music. Kelsey listens to country music, and I'll listen to it, but I don't necessarily like it. And I know it's like a huge genre. It's just not personally for me, not my taste. I like a couple of different country songs, but it's not something that I would listen to personally. Not something that I'm going to jump into and turn on Spotify. When DJ pulls it up, DJ X, I'm like, bro, he's like, you're skipping a lot of songs right now. I'm like, well, you're playing a lot of crap right now. But again, I'm weird. Like my love of music spans very, very far back to now. So I have love in different genres. I love like older music, like Ray Charles. There's a lot of actual artists that I really listen to that are way before, like, I would say what 50s up, maybe even some of the 30s and 40s. And then obviously you guys know I've mostly listened to mostly rap. But I still will sing. Me and Kelsey were on our way home listening to what's that band called? There's some great music that's some of the stuff I grew up on that's not rap. But that's why I said I didn't fit into Nashville. Because they were all wearing country boots and they all had their hats on and they all looked like they were ready and they were all yeehawing. And I'm like, look, I grew up on yeehaw, but not anymore. Fallout Boy, is that what it's called? I love Fallout Boy. No, it wasn't Fallout Boy, was it? It's the one where it's the beautiful wedding. Cause I chimed in. See, I'll go crazy right now. That emo phase goes crazy. All right, here we go. Friends was not a good show. You're an idiot. How was it? Here's the thing. If you're going to say some stupid stuff, WikiHow, before I cancel you, you better tell me why. How was Friends not a good show? Friends was a great show. You don't have to like it, but you can't tell me you were bored watching Friends. Now, do I skip the whole first couple seasons because it's a little bit more boring? Yeah. That's personal preference, though. Cheetah Girls was better than High School Musical. I've never seen the Cheetah Girls, and I only like High School Musical 2, so I don't know. These are all kind of crazy. It doesn't matter which way the toilet paper goes on the roll. That's going to piss me off. Yeah, it does. If it does, this is the thing, and this might create a big divide here as a group, and I'm sorry. You physically have to roll. The toilet paper has to be pulled down. It can't be going up from the under. You can't pull up and click it off. It has to be on top and you have to pull it down and rip it down because then you can rip across. And that's because that's what happens in hotels. That's what happens when you go to the gas stations. It comes from the top down, not the opposite way. So yes, it matters. And when you go to fancy places, they fold the toilet paper on top and you pull down. So yes, it matters. I never want to hear. You can't tell me pulling up is easier than the rip down because you can't see the bottom, right? You can't see, like, you can't go under and look under there and pull up. You have to pull down. It's just that it has to go every time. It has to go down. You just can't. You can. It has to be down. Yeah, it has to be. That's just gonna piss me right off. Musicals are the best form of media. You guys are gonna cancel me. We should have never done hot takes. Frick this. No. Best form of media? No. Is it entertaining? Yeah, but I think it's just as good as any other. It's any other form of media. Why is it the best? It's not the best. It's just as good as all the others. The best? No. It just can't be. It's not here's the thing. My media love is always going to be storytelling. So if you tell a good story and it's a musical, great. But you can't all my music lovers, all the music movie lovers, musicals. You can't tell me that musicals are not the most random thing in the world. We'll be talking and then I'll just stand up and stand on my chair and start singing, and that would not be natural. So that's the only reason it takes me out a little bit. I love musicals. It's just not better than other things. Storytelling for me is always going to be better. See, here's the problem. You can make a bad movie story-wise and make good music and trick people. If you have a bad story, it's hard to trick people. But if the music is memorable, you could be like, oh, I love this movie because you love the music. You're all nostalgic, but you haven't gone back to the place and said, oh, is this a good movie? Is the story make sense? Oh man, I almost said something about Grease and Grease 2. I'm not doing it. That's saving it for that video. We're not doing that today. All right, let's go one more. And then we'll do a little Q&A with you guys because I know we haven't done one in a long time. Some of these are just bad. These are bad. Beyonce is the biggest pop culture icon ever. No. I would definitely say Michael Jackson would be generationally more well known than Beyonce. So I don't even think that is a question. That really just doesn't sit well with me. I think almost everybody that you ask would know Michael Jackson, but not Beyonce. Sorry. All men should live underground with the worms. This is a political hot take that all men should live underground with the worms. WikiHow, you know what you're about to get? You're about to get a lawsuit here. You son of a frick. You stupid motherfricker. You're dumb as hell too. Your takes don't even make any sense. Look at your stupid website. Look at this stupid ad you're running. Look at this stupid crap you're running on here. Look at your stupid pictures. Frick you. You're an idiot. Bet you didn't even go to school anyway. Underground with the worms. Look how dumb your pictures are too. Stupid pictures, stupid website. Freaking underground with the worms. That's not political at all, actually. What does that have to do with politics? Here's your political hot takes. All men should live underground with the worms is not political at all. Can we explain that? That doesn't make any sense. You're an absolute moron. That's not political. That's just rude. We should eat the rich, including the Kardashians. Now you're advocating for cannibalism and you've been canceled. You son of almost, I'm going to cuss you out, you stupid freaking website. Frick you and frick everything you're about. You're an absolute moron. Ask you know, that wasn't hot takes. We're never doing that again with that website. Yeah, somebody was pissed that day. That was not normal. Why would you want? That was just dumb. Frick you, man. You didn't ruin the whole thing at the end. Yeah, that lady was pissed. All right. I want you to ask a question. I know we haven't done this in a while. Ask a question and we'll get to it. We're definitely still going to have fun tomorrow too. You guys are early though. You guys are the ones here on live. So you'll know once that post comes up, I want you to go and vote for what you want to do tomorrow. Hot takes, I might not even put that as an option this time. We'll try something else. You guys ask questions. We'll do a little Q&A. It's been a long time since we've done anything like that. Any questions you have about the channel? I know, so all the ones who have upgraded to the motherfucking ones is a new membership tier. Been trying to give them as much. You're asking me, by the way, any questions you have about the channel, anything that's going on. I've been giving them all the updates and trying to make sure you guys know what's going on behind the scenes, because there's a lot happening every day. It's just a lot. Trying to balance everything out and making sure that we can get to our lives too. So here's a great question. If someone sent you a claret was given to the river shirt, will you wear it on screen? 1,000%. 1,000% I would wear it. That'd be tough. Ice Cold, would you live underground with the worms? I think I'd do it. I think I'd do it. When do you get merch? We have merch available for you. I will pull it up for you. People, I actually had a picture just sent to me. I was so happy to see it with new. Let me pull it up for you. So if you can see this, I always forget that I have to share it first. My bad. Here's our store on the, so if you go to the channel and you go to store, all of our stuff is right here. We're going to be adding a bunch of new stuff. We had a picture sent with the Frick This mug. So if you guys want to send your pictures, you can tell me in your email, I want to, you can use this picture. I'll post it on our community, or you can post it on the community. If you guys didn't know, you have the ability to post on our community, and it's like a feed that you're allowed to post on our tab. So it's not just my post. You guys have a community post you can do as well. What's your favorite meal? It's going to be very unpopular. My favorite food in the world is salmon sushi, which is raw salmon on rice. My second favorite thing in the world is Mexican food. So that's just what it is. Kelsey doesn't like anything raw, but again, you have to understand it's cured. It's not just cut and thrown on there. Okay. It's a little bit more refined than that. I love Mexican food. I grew up on it in Texas. It is probably my favorite food category, but my favorite thing to eat above all things is salmon sushi. I love sushi in general, but salmon sushi is like my favorite thing in the world. Green chili chicken enchiladas, man. Favorite thing in the world. It's not, I promise. What's your favorite state? Oh, you're going to get me in trouble here. Slow. Favorite state. I'm always going to have love for Texas. I've lived in a lot of places. Hawaii is probably the most beautiful. I don't know. I have good memories in everywhere I've lived. Kansas, Utah. Oh, man. I love AZ, but it's more about the experiences of Arizona. I wouldn't necessarily say love AZ as a state above everything. It's just because it's like home. That's a question, man. I don't know. That's actually too hard to answer. My favorite place that I've ever lived, at least, and I know that's not your question, was Hawaii, just because it was so beautiful. But like practically, I wouldn't want to live in Hawaii now, only because it's just so far away. You know? That's a good question. Where would be your dream vacation? Oh, that's a good question too. My dream vacation. I'm telling you right now, I have tried to tell Kelsey about a billion times, it would either be Greece or Rome. I would love to go to Rome, and I'm a history nerd. If you guys did not know that, I love history. I love architecture. So I'd love to see everything that, like the old ancient worlds and the scenery, the beauty. I'd love to try the different food. I'd also love to go to Japan. Um, I've heard some crazy things about like the tech in different places. So I'd love to see. I'm weird. I want to see the future stuff that we've got in the world and then also go into like the past. So I'm a history nerd. I love, I love, but there's so many places, man. Like I used to watch that stuff on like Discovery, all those places where people just go and like are just film the landscape. I love like the earth is so cool. So I'd love to go to a lot of different places. But those like Rome has always probably been my number one. I've told everybody. Greece would be on there. Australia, I've always wanted to go to Australia. Um I'm not a seven, what is it? The seven wonders, eight wonders, whatever. Seven wonders, right? Because King Kong was the eighth or something like that. I have never been someone that has to see everything. Like that. I'm more like where I'd want to have something to do. I guess that's my biggest thing. Yeah, that might be a lot easier if you guys put put that, because then I'll know it's a question. But I mean, I'd go to, if I have the opportunity, I'd go to a lot of different places, a lot of different countries. I love to learn about people's cultures and how they see the world and their perspective on things. So I'd love to go to a lot of different places. But I don't know, like traveling, like we talked about earlier, has just been like something I'm not the biggest fan of. Like I don't want to jump on 10-hour flights, like that's just that's just not something that I am a big fan of. Are you a reader? I used to be a reader. I haven't really sat down and read a book in a long time, to be honest with you. I'm more, I guess I just become so used to visual that everything I do is on a computer. So I read articles, but I don't read books. So I guess I wouldn't consider myself a reader like a book, but I do read articles. I do research, but I don't necessarily sit down and read. Oh my gosh, favorite memory with Kelsey. I don't think I've ever laughed with anybody the way I laugh with Kelsey. So we've had some of the funniest things in the world happen. Um, I don't think I could give you a favorite. We've had so many fun times and hard times. Like we've been through every up and down together. What would be my favorite? Man, the inside jokes we have, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even pick one. I couldn't even pick one. Probably some of my favorite memories though are when we were first dating, just because it was so new. And I remember, I'll tell you guys a story. This is one of my favorite memories, to be honest with you. Kelsey and I just talked about this on our first date. So Charles used to take us, me and my best friend, mostly just me and him. That was like me and Charles's thing, is go get sushi. So we both love the salmon sushi. He's the one that introduced it to me. So me and Charles would go eat. And this one time we brought my best friend. I don't remember if he even likes sushi. He wouldn't eat the raw stuff. So I think he found, oh yeah, he'd eat the teriyaki chicken. So me and Charles get this giant plate of salmon sushi. We're both like the fastest eaters. Me and Charles could eat so quickly. And when the bill came, Charles pulls his card out. And you know how you always take the bill and you look at it and then you put your card in and you wait. Well, Charles grabs it and puts his card in, shuts it, and hands it without looking. And when I tell you, I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life at that moment. I was like, that was bad A. Like, that was just a power move. Okay. He didn't even care. Right. Like, it was so cool. And so I tried to do the same. I tried to do the same thing with Kelsey. I'd never done it before. So you have to understand, I've known Kelsey since I was 14, and she came to the same school as me. So I was in ninth grade, she was in seventh grade. So I just had known of her our whole lives. She knew who I was. Okay. So I go, something stupid, because we had a great first date. We'd been talking for months. I didn't tell her I lived in Kansas because I was finishing school and I wanted to come home for the summer and see her. So I went in there and she comes in and the lady comes up and goes, okay, you know, are you good? Here's your check. So she gives us the check. And for whatever reason, I grab my $100 bill and I tell Kelsey, I'm like, hey, watch this. I open it, I plop the $100 bill, I shut it and I slide it. And when I tell you this was Kelsey, I do the move, I do the cool move, and I kind of look at her. She's like this and blink. And I went, so and I had no way out of it because she didn't understand it because it wouldn't really make sense to the third party. And I didn't think about that. So I was like, okay, that was just the worst thing. I should have never said anything. I shouldn't have pulled that move on the first date. Luckily I married her. 3 kids later, I still hit from half court, but it is what it is. I definitely thought I was doing something cool. I'd never tried it. And I tried it on our first date for whatever reason. And it wasn't even like to flex. I don't know why I did that. It was just something that came to me in that moment and I did it. And it was just so stupid. It was just so dumb. No idea why I did that. It wasn't even like a flex. I just wanted her to know that I was going to pay for her food. I don't know what the point was. I couldn't tell you. It was a bad A move, man. The girls go crazy when you put the money in there and you don't even look at the bill. Try it. Try it next time you go on a date. That's actually a good point. What if they overcharged me? They could have put anything in there. Well, Kelsey did the girl move and she ordered a salad. And I was like, girl, I know you're hungry. So I was like, I had ordered a burger. My first date advice would be, so I tried to take her to Benihana's. You guys don't know what Benihana's is. It's the place where they like make the food in front of you, right? So you sit around a table with a bunch of other people if you don't bring a big party, and you watch them make all the food. You order it, they chop it up on the thing. They do a little volcano trick, right? And you like the way I say burger? What's wrong with how I say it? And I'm glad we didn't go there because that would have kind of ruined our experience on a date. So I'm really glad we went. So I thought she was ditching out. Okay. I was like, do you want to go to Cheesecake Factory with me? Or no, Benihana's. And she said, no, that's too far. And so I'm like, you don't have to go. I was really insecure at that age. Okay. Because I'd had girls tell me they want to go on dates and they're like, tell me at the last second they don't want to go. And so I'm like, you don't have to go. I was kind of pissed off. I was like, okay, you don't have to come. And that was on me. I was very immature. And so she's like, no, I just genuinely can't go that far. It's too far from me. So can we go somewhere else? I'm like, okay, let's go to Cheesecake Factory. So we went to Cheesecake Factory. And on our first date, I was like, we'd been talking, but like when we saw each other in person, I was enamored by her. Like I just sat there like, there's no way you're a real human being. There's just no way. And we stayed from like, I want to say like 6:00 into like closing. We stayed there that whole time. So we talked forever and we ate our food early on. Our waitress, she did not like me because we didn't leave ever. We just stayed there the whole night. And then I don't know if I even gave her the tip because I never looked at the thing. I just had to look at it after. So, but that was our first date. So what I would say, the reason I brought that up is don't get a burger or finger food if you can help it. You got to have a fork, small bites so you can continue the conversation. Put the napkin in there and don't wear what I wore. Okay. I wore a very tight shirt with jeans that were too big with Jordan 11s. Okay. And my hair was just a mess. So don't do that. I would definitely dress very clean and respectable to try to go on a real first date. But it is kind of like it's kind of environmental, right? Where are you going to dinner? I don't know if this is a question, and I'm sorry to offend anybody who has a different opinion than me, but I will tell you, you have to, as the man, my personal opinion is that you are the one who pays for that first date. There's no halvesies. I've seen this as a debate. It's not a halvesies thing. I don't care if it's your first date. In my you're taking the girl out on a date. So it's you're asking her to come with you, so you should pay. That's how I see it. That's the point. You're asking her on a date, you're chasing her, you like her, therefore you should pay for her food. It's not a question. I see all these guys like, well, it's our first date, so we should definitely go halvesies. And I'm like, why would you go halvesies? Why is that even a question? You asked her on a date, you're pursuing her. That's not a question to me. If you would you want to date her. What if she asked you? If she asked me, if Kelsey would have asked me, can we split it? Then I'd be like, oh, well, she doesn't like me, number one, because why? Maybe that's insecure, but I don't know. I'd say I would honestly say, here's what I would say. If you would give me the honor of paying for you, that's what I asked you here. I wanted to bring you on a date, so please let me pay for your food. If she's really against it, then I guess I would obviously not argue with her that much, but I would try to insist on paying. And if she wanted to pay half, then that would be her sign of saying, well, I don't like you that much. And I think that would be the only reason she'd do that. Yeah. But if you could take a girl on a date, man, don't take her to at least try. The date more matters about the effort you put in rather than where you go. Number one. And number two, we got to understand that it's not a halvesies thing. I think that that's crazy. It's just not. And I understand we're in a new age, so there's a lot more like, I'm not going to be picked up from the house, which is really sad. We're in a really, really dark age of time. You can't go like ask girls to pick them up, to take them on dates, open their door for them. Like you can't give them the whole thing. So a lot of times it's meeting, right, for the first time. So it's just a lot of things have changed, but I don't think that should change. I don't think you ever ask if she should go halvesies with you on food, especially if you ask her on a date. That's just my point. I don't even know how we got on that, but I'll tell you this: don't pull out $100 bill, not look at your bill, close it, and slide it. Don't do that, and don't wear what I wore. If I had a picture of that outfit, I think I did. Actually, you know what? I did have it on my Instagram, that exact outfit that I wore, so I could show you a picture of it. Ugh, it's so funny, dude. Okay, you guys have any more questions? I know I spent forever on that one. Any more questions? $100%. Yeah. If I'm taking you bowling, right? Even if it's our first date, I'm taking you bowling. I'm going to pay for the bowling. Doesn't matter if it's food, movie, whatever we're going to do. I'm asking you out. Oh, this is a good question. If you could have one for life, housekeeper or chef. Oh, I have to really think about that. Because Kelsey can really, really cook. Oh, man. Probably a chef. The reason I say chef is because I think a chef, you could really get the food like as you could get what you wanted, but as clean as possible. That's what I would do. So give me more protein in there. You know? What's your favorite way to relax? Oh, so I'm a lay down, watch a show. Kelsey and I like to watch our shows, watch movies, whatever the case is. I think just quality time at night, hanging out with her. and we'll do movie nights with the girls, like whatever we can do, just kind of sit down and engage in something relaxing. If I were to go though, like say, oh, I'm going to take a relaxing weekend, I'd probably go somewhere nice, sit in a hot tub, get up, work out. I think that's what's weird is like working out to me is always going to be part of my like thing I would want to do. And then just hang out. And then when it comes to just pure relaxation, I just like to sit and watch something, hang out. I love game nights. I love hanging out with people. I think it's a great question. What can we do as a community for you that we aren't doing yet? And that is the honest truth. There's nothing you're not doing. You guys are an amazing community. I couldn't ask for a better group of people. And I'm unbelievably grateful for you guys. So there's nothing you're not doing. You are doing everything. Slow coming in with the what's your favorite show currently? So I've been more watching movie series. I just started the Alien show. It's a little weird. I don't know how I feel about it. I've lost a lot of faith in a lot of TV shows, and I'll tell you why. I will give them fair chances. And after like 6 episodes or 4 episodes, especially if they're longer, I just haven't been really getting into it. You know what's weird? We talked about this. I loved Dexter as a show, and I haven't even tried to watch the new one. And it's because I'm fatigued of the reruns, the redos, the in the futures, the Zoe 102s, the movies that are things from the past that are coming back and just giving them more sequels. I don't know why. And I'm not judging because I haven't seen Dexter. So this isn't just about Dexter, but it's just getting, it's just getting so, I'm so fatigued at everything I grew up watching or had seen now is being rerun. Every movie. We still have Jurassic Parks. We still just had Star Wars movies coming out. We still have a bunch of stuff that's just getting redone. It's just so hard to find something that is just fun to watch. And I'm just being real. It's just the culture of what we've got. You know? I want something new and innovative and exciting. I'll take that. I'll take that comparison. By the way, Arrow's a great show for the first like 4 seasons, and then for me, I couldn't even finish it. It got so wild. Yes, exactly. We watched so much Arrow that I was like, Kelsey, you really look like the guy from Arrow. Oh man. It's really no original thought. It's getting so old, man. How many times can we start a show or like do like how many times, and I'm being very generous when I say this. How many Jurassic Park in that realm can we possibly do? Once the dinosaurs got out and chased everyone around, by the 3rd movie, it's hard to keep reinventing that. And then we just keep going. And it's like same thing with Star Wars. Like just make a new concept within this realm or stop. And they just never stop. And they just are draining everything. Now, one thing I'm waiting for that is so good, I have to answer this. Breaking Bad, one of the best shows of all time. No lie. Great writing, great character development. I cannot wait for Dune 3. I just watched Dune 2 again on the plane. If you have not seen Dune, it's going to feel like you're on acid the first time you watch it, but when you actually understand the story, it's a great movie. Dune 1 and 2, great movies. Breaking Bad, great show. Me and Charles was actually the one that showed me Breaking Bad. Me and him watched it in Texas when it first hit Netflix, so forever ago. And he loved that show. So I had not finished it. So he and I watched it for a while together. Then he ended up just doing what everybody does. And as 2 people who watch a show, is that he overwatched and watched the whole thing without me because I had my own life. So he'd watch it at night, and if I didn't come in, he just kept watching. So I lost it. So I think we watched, I don't know how much we watched together, but he loved Breaking Bad. That was like his thing. And he thought the coolest scene in the world was the scene where they pop open and see all the cash in the storage unit. I'm not spoiling anything for that, just so you know. But I have heard of OG. I actually watched a YouTube video about the OG one. I don't think I could sit through the whole thing, but that could be a prejudgment. It's very different from what we get now, and I know that, but I have seen a video about it. Kelsey is notorious for that, by the way. I love her, okay? And if she's still here, she knows. She will binge watch the show we're watching. And that's it. She will watch it without me. And I think as a partner, when you're both watching a show, you gotta, it's either all in or all out. Once you've watched 2 episodes without me, you've lost me. I'm gone. Once you like jump ahead of me and you know the story, I'm no longer into it. I got to be able to catch up. You know, you do that for real. I'll be like, why are we in season 3? We were in season 2, episode 2, and now you're watching season 3. You can't do that. I know it's a real thing. She gets so invested, and I do too. But if I miss a couple episodes, I'm just not into it the same. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, what happened? I want to see it. Hey, she calls me out on this. This chat is notorious for Kelsey roasting me. I'm not even roasting her. Oh, 1000%. That would be a dream come true to come to England for real. That would be an honor to come out there. I'd love that. Okay, got time for one more, guys. Let's do one more question if you have them. If not, I love just talking to you guys in general. I have not seen any new shows I'm really that interested in. I'm starting to give things a chance though. I'm starting to see things that I'm halfway interested in and say I'm just going to give it a real chance. I might love it. With Dune, I did not like Dune, the first one, that much because it was really weird. So, and then when I watched it again and understood what was going on, I really, really liked it. If you were cast in a movie, what movie? I don't know. Because like, would you want to be in a superhero movie? Would you want to be in a Everybody thinks I just do Star Wars, but I don't think I do Star Wars. Because they're jacked up over there, depending on what time period you'd be in. Their political and their financial stuff they got going on in that universe would be effed up. So no, I would not like that. I'd like to see it all. If I could be in a movie, I definitely want to be. I think I'd probably want to do a military movie, to be honest with you. Little did you know that I'm going to be starring in a new movie called Rubby One, and it's all about the game we played, only you're going to get a real conclusion in the movie. So you guys had no idea. I was just saying if you guys liked that story. That'd be fun. Except for that, I'm not going to lie. You got to give Tom Cruise a lot of credit. That stuff is crazy. He does all his stunts. I'd do I'd be Superman, Batman. I can't really be like Spider-Man, unfortunately. I could be Wolverine, but I don't really have that look. You got to have a certain look to fit the character. I'm very like if someone makes a character up, you got to look or at least exude that. So I'm very realistic in who I would actually be able to be. I don't know if I could see myself as very many superheroes. Maybe the Punisher. That could be a good role for me. But no, I don't know. I don't know who I'd be. I think I'm too unrefined to be Captain America. A movie about my life, who would you want to play? That's a great question. Oh man. Who would I want to play me in a movie? That's a really good question. I don't know. I guess you'd have to go Chris Hemsworth. Big Chris Hemsworth from the last Thor movie. That would be me. And he can just get a nice haircut. And he could be me. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm being funny. Yeah, I'm sick of all the secret agent saves the world. You know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see a real struggle in a movie. I'd like to see somebody who doesn't win right off the bat, who doesn't who goes through something more realistic. And it's just not as sexy, and I get that, but you could make it work, trust me. I want to see a conflict that has to be really worked through, because that's way more realistic than the freaking asteroid coming towards the Earth and sending the ship up there and the hero saving it and making it back. I don't know. That's my take. I'm really ready for media to do something new. And you could do it. You could start dipping into history and making historical movies that are educational and amazing. The acting and the storylines are there for you. You don't have to work that hard. You just find character or side characters, and you're able to tell historical things. I think that's why documentaries are blowing out of the water. They have been for years, because people like more realistic stuff. So if you start making movies that are more based in reality, I think you'd have a better time. I would at least like that, because the stories are so over the top and the guy almost dies so many times each movie. You're really losing. It's like, how many times can he fall off a building, or how many times do we like stop trying to tease that he's like, okay, let's say he got shot. Well, we know he's not going to die. Come on. It's getting old. It's getting really old to see that. All right. Well, you guys know I love you. You're amazing. It's always so much fun for me to just enjoy talking about different subjects with you. I love our show. Thank you guys for your questions. Thank you guys for being here. We will have Fun Friday tomorrow. So you guys can go and put your votes up right when I put that up on the community tab, and you get to vote. I like when you guys tell me what you want to do. And we will be here tomorrow night around probably 7:30, and we'll have another fun time. Appreciate you guys. Love you. See you soon.